Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time." Arguing what a good man should be one an Aeoic man doesn't seek approval for his actions, he simply embodies strength, awareness, and quiet control. When you place your hand on her back, you aren't seeking a reaction. You're simply being a man of presence and leadership, and that alone is magnetic. In a world where many men are either too timid or too overbearing, mastering this simple yet powerful move sets you apart as someone who understands the subtle balance of strength and care. Secret number 5. Be secret. 5 being her protector. In small ways, her hero. The protector, being a protector, doesn't mean saving a woman or acting like her personal bodyguard. Women today are independent, strong, and fully capable of handling their own challenges. But here's the secret. Women still deeply value a man who makes them feel safe. Not in an over-the-top or dramatic way, but through small, consistent actions that show you're emotionally and physically dependable. Most men assume that being protective means stepping in only during big moments, like getting involved in a confrontation or dramatically defending her. But the truth is, it's the little things that build real trust and attraction over time. It's how you respond when someone is rude to her. It's making sure she gets home safely without making it into a big deal. It's standing beside her during awkward moments, offering quiet yet undeniable support. Women notice and appreciate these small acts of reliability. A man who stays calm under pressure, handles situations with composure, and offers steady presence, not control, makes her feel truly at ease. In a world full of uncertainty, stability is rare and incredibly attractive. But let's be clear, being a protector doesn't mean taking over or making her feel like she can't handle things. It means you're someone she can rely on when it matters. A man who stays cool, doesn't make a scene, and knows when to step up. That's real strength. This is where Stoic philosophy becomes powerful. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. A Stoic man is emotionally steady. He doesn't react out of fear or insecurity. He observes, thinks, and responds with calm confidence. And that kind of presence puts people at ease, especially women. When you carry this calm, grounded energy, you stand out from the 99% of men who either overreact or stay passive. You become the kind of man who shows strength through actions, not words. Secret 6. The psychological impact of mentioning a dream. This next insight is subtle but surprisingly powerful. Most men never think to use it, but it can build emotional connection in a unique and lasting way. Mentioning a dream, casually and naturally, suggests that she's been on your mind, even subconsciously. Let's say you're chatting and you casually say, "You know, I had the strangest dream about you last night." Then pause. Let her curiosity grow. 9 times out of 10, she'll ask, "Wait, really? What was it about?" Here's the key. You don't need to make up a dramatic or overly romantic dream. Keep it simple, light, and a little playful. Something like, "I don't remember all of it, but we were sitting in a cafe talking about something deep. It just felt really peaceful." This plants the idea in her mind that there's a natural emotional comfort between you, that she matters to you on a level that isn't forced. A dream feels genuine. It's not a rehearsed line. It's an unconscious moment that makes her wonder, why was I in his dream? This taps into emotional depth and a bit of mystery, 2 things women naturally respond to. A Stoic man uses this moment wisely. He doesn't seek attention. He lets natural curiosity do the work. He knows attraction is about creating a pull, not pushing too hard. Secret 7. How a well-groomed beard triggers primal attraction. Facial hair may seem like a simple style choice, but science says otherwise. A well-groomed beard affects how women subconsciously perceive you. Studies show that bearded men are often seen as more strong, mature, and reliable, 3 qualities tied to deep, instinctual attraction. Think about it. In ancient times, warriors, philosophers, and leaders often had beards. Beards symbolize wisdom, strength, and leadership, traits linked to being a dependable man. Even today, a well-maintained beard suggests you're self-assured, disciplined, and confident. But there's a catch. A messy, unkempt beard sends the opposite message. It signals a lack of care. A clean, well-kept beard says, I take care of myself, and I take pride in how I present myself. This connects with what Marcus Aurelius said. The soul becomes dyed with the colour of its thoughts. In other words, your outer appearance reflects your inner discipline. A beard, when worn well, can become part of that message, showing you're composed, intentional, and aware of your presence. Boost self-confidence, provide a deeper understanding of your body, and leave you feeling sexually fulfilled. What's more, it offers many of the same physical and emotional benefits as sex with a partner, but with the added bonus of personal exploration and self-discovery. In a world where intimacy with others can sometimes feel complicated, masturbation provides a safe and empowering way to connect with yourself. Let's not forget the powerful emotional connection that sex fosters between 2 people. After sex, your body releases oxytocin, often called the love hormone, which helps you feel incredibly relaxed and deeply bonded with your partner. This hormone not only enhances feelings of intimacy, but can also increase trust between partners. In fact, one study revealed that when strangers were given a nasal spray containing oxytocin, they began to trust each other. More demonstrating the incredible power of this hormone in forging emotional connections, let's talk about the different sexualities of people. Now, did you know that a lot of bisexual, gay, lesbian, and transgender people have had heterosexual experiences as teens, but still stay true to who they are? On the other hand, some straight people have had same-sex encounters, but still identify as straight. Sexuality is complicated, fluid, and deeply personal. There's also formicophilia, which is the sexual interest in having bugs or worms crawl on the body. This may sound strange to some, but it shows how diverse human sexual preferences and curiosities are. Having a sexual life isn't just for fun, it's good for you. In the long run, studies have shown that having sex at least once a week lowers the risk of heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. Additionally, men who have regular sex are generally more likely to live past the age of 80. I think this makes it clear how physical closeness is connected to health, longevity, and vitality in general. Another common sexual fantasy for many people is having sex with a group of people. And interestingly, more than half of those who have had this fantasy have actually done it at some point. Sexual fantasies are more common than we might think, and they can be as tame or as wild as we want them to be. They all add to the rich tapestry of human sexual experience. Also, about 1% of the global population identifies as asexual, which means they don't feel strongly sexually attracted to anyone. Asexuality is another way that humans experience their sexuality. Dortha was the first living being on Earth to engage in sexual reproduction. This momentous event occurred around 30 million years ago, marking the dawn of a practice that has continued to evolve in fascinating ways. Ever since, from prehistoric times to modern-day office romances, sexual behaviour has woven itself into the fabric of human life. In fact, about 1 in 5 people have had sex with a coworker, a reminder that intimacy often finds its way into our daily lives, even at work, according to a Match.com study. 44% of singles report having an orgasm almost every time they have sex with someone they've been intimate with before, such as an ex-partner. This statistic underscores the importance of familiarity, trust, and emotional connection when it comes to achieving sexual satisfaction. Sometimes knowing someone well can lead to deeper, more fulfilling sexual experiences, proving that intimacy is not just about the physical, but also about emotional and psychological bonds. Have you ever experienced that tingling sensation running up your spine while listening to a powerful piece of music? That's what we call a skin orgasm or free one. And it's not just limited to music. Research shows that this delightful sensation can be triggered by movies, works of art, or even a special connection with someone. The fascinating thing about free one is that it's unpredictable. You never quite know when or why it might happen. But when it does, it feels as if your whole body comes alive with emotion. Now, when it comes to sexual pleasure, every woman is as unique as a snowflake. Each has her own distinct way of reaching orgasm with nerve endings in her genitals, distributed in a way that is special only to her. This uniqueness means that what brings one woman to the height of pleasure may not work the same for another. And during orgasm, those rhythmic vaginal contractions that feel so intense, they are actually the uterus trying to pull sperm inside an amazing involuntary reaction tied to the body's reproductive instincts. For men, satisfaction in bed can take some interesting turns and twists along the way. Surprisingly, having a lot of sexual partners doesn't always make you happier. In fact, men may feel less sexual fulfillment when their last encounter was with someone they really care about. This is because deep emotional connections can often lead to more pleasure, fewer erection problems, and less pain during sex. It's a paradox that shows how physically and emotionally intimate relationships are connected. Meanwhile, more than half of young adults, 18 to 24, say their last SE sexual partner was just a casual hookup, shining a light on how modern interactions are changing. Let's talk about oral sex. Some people think it's safer than other types of sex, but there are still some risks. It's important to remember that the sharing of fluids can still spread infections, so be careful in an interesting turn of events. Both men and women now say they enjoy being bitten during intimate times. 55% of women and 50% of men say they do this fun. Active aggression can make sex more enjoyable by combining pain and pleasure in enticing ways. Did you know the word clitoris comes from the Greek word for throat? It comes from a Greek word that means queen or divine, which shows how important and powerful this small but powerful organ is in the world of female pleasure. When it comes to orgasm, is men and women each have their own unique ways to reach ecstasy. For men, touching the prostate, also known as the PE spot, during anal sex can cause an orgasm so strong that it's impossible to forget. For women, putting pressure on the AA spot close to the cervix can cause waves of intense pleasure that are often described as completely fulfilling. There are many ways to win over a woman's heart and body. For example, more than 97% of women find a kiss on the neck to be one of the sexiest places on their body. But when it comes to the famed GS spot, not all women feel the same way, and the exact location can vary from womb to woman. Now, here's something really interesting about 1% of women can get an orgasm just by stimulating their nipple. But for those who can, it can be the SEEST experience of their lives, from free ones to orgasms. The world of sexual pleasure is huge and always interesting. The body is a treasure trove of unique sensations that are just waiting to be discovered. If you are still watching this movie and think these lessons are helpful, please let me know in the first comment below. This is for both men and women. Oral sex reigns supreme is the ultimate fantasy that often sparks passion and intimacy in a way that few other acts can. It offers a deep connection, especially for women who can have an orgasm that lasts anywhere from 3 to 51 seconds. Yes, women can ejaculate, but it's important to know that squirting, ejaculation, and orgasm are two beautiful, separate but connected experiences, each with its own powerful sensations. The clitoris is a treasure chest of pleasure. It has 8,000 nerve endings, which is twice as many as the penis. This makes it the ultimate place for sexual delight. While penetration is fascinating, only 18% of women can achieve orgasm through it alone. The magic is often in shallower movements that delicately stimulate the G-spot rather than deep thrusts. It's during these moments of pleasure that the female brain lights up like fireworks, ready to dive back into waves of euphoria. But despite this potential, a heartbreaking 30% of women say they have trouble getting an orgasm, and 10% have never had one. This difference often shows a deeper need for openness, understanding, and communication in relationships. Women tend to have more frequent and satisfying orgasms in committed partnerships than in one-night stands, where emotional intimacy is often lacking. For example, kissing a woman softly while she sleeps or indulging in her fantasies can create a bond that goes beyond the physical, combining emotional and sexual connection into a single, potent experience. The act of exploring desires together is a private dance that builds trust and love, but it takes courage to be open about what really sets the flames of passion touch. Isn't the only way to feel good, for example. The clitoris is still a very sensitive area that needs care and attention. Its 8,000 endings call for care and attention. A well-groomed partner is another minor but important factor, since the groin area is sensitive, and even something as simple as a beard that isn't trimmed can make it hurt. Being physically fit and active, lifestyles are a big part of what attracts people. Many women are attracted to sporty men even if their bodies aren't perfect. It's not just about looks. Being active can also give you confidence and energy in the bedroom. Sadly, many people are unhappy with their sex lives and suffer in silence. The 69th position is known for its simultaneous stimulation, but positions like the doggy style offer deeper penetration that many men find deeply satisfying. Interestingly, the power of attraction also lies in smell, testosterone. The primal hormone of masculinity can make women want to be with a man, and there are even loans that mimic this alluring scent, heightening sexual tension. However, relationships where partners are too similar may not always last, as subtle differences between partners often fuel attraction, adding that spark of unpredictability as a woman goes through life. Especially during menopause, her sexual desires change. As a woman's body changes, so does her emotional and physical closeness. Recognizing these changes is important for keeping a healthy and happy relationship. At the heart of every close connection is communication, mutual respect, and shared pleasure. Proper sexual education can break down walls of shame and anxiety to get greater satisfaction in a close relationship. Both people must be willing to change their expectations and work together to find solutions that work for both of them. After all, pleasure in all its forms is a journey that should be shared, loved, and celebrated. If someone is a saposexual, their intelligence becomes their most powerful aphrodisiac for saposexual. It's not about the physical first, but the stimulating conversations, clever comments, and deep thought that spark true attraction. But before we get into the complexities of sexuality, it's important to bust some myths that have spread through society, like the so-called dead vagina syndrome. This false idea says that having a lot of sex can make a woman less sensitive, but that's not true at all. Women's bodies are made for pleasure, and they can enjoy it as much as they want, as long as it's mutually agreed upon, and fun, the correct method in which the focus shifts from orgasm to the so deep bond between partners, really emphasizes the emotional connection over physical climax. It's a powerful reminder that intimacy is about more than just reaching a peak. It's about connecting on an emotional and spiritual level, which can be much more satisfying for many women in the long run. Even though attraction isn't based on looks alone, Men who take care of themselves by shaving or trimming their beards often find that they become more attractive to their partners. It's a simple but effective way to show self-respect, which is undeniably alluring. Sexual fantasy is another important part of a healthy sex life. Fantasy can reignite desire by adding excitement and novelty to a relationship. It's not unusual for people to feel a surge of desire when meet a new partner. Robert Sternberg's theory of love says that the thrill of the new stirs up dormant emotions. There are three main parts to a relationship: closeness, desire, and commitment. When these three things come together, they can make any kind of love from a hot fling to a deep, long-lasting relationship. Another interesting thing about human sexuality is how our attach M styles, secure, avoidant, or anxious, affect how we experience intimacy. A secure attachment style usually leads to stable and satisfying sexual experiences, while avoidant or anxious styles can make it hard to be vulnerable or close. Some people even have a condition called persistent genital arousal disease, in which they feel sexually aroused, even when there is no sexual stimulus. This shows how complicated human desire is. Also, it's important to know that sexual desire doesn't just go away with age. As people age, their sexual needs and wants may change, but they don't go away. In fact, smell can surprise you in ways that surprise you at any age. It can come from a person's natural body chemistry or from a fragrance. Even outside factors like the weather can affect sexual activity. On warmer days, desire tends to rise. Music is also a powerful tool that can create an emotional and sensual atmosphere that makes attraction stronger. Now let's talk about something that many men avoid, but is very important for their sexual health. Erectile dysfunction, this problem which affects a lot of guys, can be very painful emotionally and lead to feelings of not being good enough and tense relationships. But there is hope. Research has shown that doing yoga can make you more sexually attractive. It improves flexibility, lowers stress, and even increases sexual desire. It's a complete method that gives men back their confidence in the bedroom. In today's digital world, cyber sex is a new form of intimacy where sexual activity happens online instead of in person. Depending on the level of communication and between the participants, it can either help or hurt a relationship. On the one hand, it can give long-distance couples a way to stay close, but on the other hand, it can make people unhappy if it becomes a replacement for real connection. In the same way, partners can feel emotionally and sexually empty. When people don't get enough hugs, kisses, or simple physical affection, it can affect their connection in a relationship. Touch plays a powerful role in keeping love strong. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please let us know in the comments below. In recent years, polyamorous relationships, where people are open to having more than one romantic partner, have become more common. These relationships are based on honesty and clear communication. For some people, it's a new way of thinking about love and connection that works well for them. It's also interesting how different experiences and situations can create emotional reactions. For example, certain foods, tastes, or smells can bring up strong feelings or memories and even strengthen the bond between two people. Attraction isn't one size fits all. Every woman is unique, and what draws her in can vary widely. While some areas of the body often get a lot of attention in conversations about closeness, it's important to remember that everyone experiences things differently. One area that many women appreciate gentle affection on is the neck. It's a sensitive place that can make them feel connected and appreciated. In fact, studies show that over 97% of women enjoy being kissed there. Surprisingly, a small percentage of women can even feel intense pleasure from very specific types of touch, showing how diverse people's experiences can be. Acts like showing kindness, paying attention to their comfort, or sharing meaningful conversations can be just as important as physical connection. Understanding what brings joy in relationships is important, and being open to listening and learning from each other's preferences makes a big difference. Things like gentle communication, being thoughtful, and taking the time to understand each other help build stronger emotional connections. For example, gentle touch, caring gestures, and exploring each other's preferences with respect can bring partners closer. People are different in how they experience joy, and some may find that a softer approach creates a more comfortable and meaningful connection. Interestingly, women in committed relationships often report feeling more satisfied and emotionally connected than those in casual situations. This shows the power of trust and emotional closeness. Sweet moments, like a partner softly kissing their loved one while they sleep, can mean a lot. These small acts help build trust and affection over time. Sharing dreams, exploring emotional closeness, and creating a space where both people feel safe and valued makes all the difference. Confidence and self-care matter too. When someone takes care of themselves, staying active, being thoughtful about hygiene, or simply showing up with presence, it can be very attractive. It's not about having a perfect body, but about effort, care, and connection. Exploring different ways to be close, emotionally and physically, helps couples stay connected and grow together. There's no one right way. What matters is mutual respect and open communication. Thank you for joining us on this journey of learning and discovery. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What's one new thing you've learned that you might try in your own life? Share in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more helpful tips and thoughtful insights. We're excited to bring you even more interesting facts and advice in future videos.